Okay, Randy, we're back in here for the second leg of this Twin 20 event. It looks like Bobby Weaver is going to be sitting on the point alongside him, Eschenauer, and we'll have to try and give you a brief rundown here as the cars get over on the backstretch. It's actually an inverted start here.
Yes, okay. Eschenauer and Weaver in row number 1. Row number 2 is made up of
Roger Fickett and Maynard Jinx, I think, although Joey Gravino is trying to get up there. Okay, then in the next row back, it's Gravino and Lotier. And now Snellbaker pulls up.
And looks like we have a little bit of confusion here. We're not going to get a green. The green light is on, but however, the flag is not waving.
Hopefully no incidents here as they come down the front stretch. Now the yellow light pops on, and everybody eases off the throttle, Randy.
Paul Lotier nearly gets into Maynard Jinx there. Kaufman's still on the move.
I'll tell you, that is a hazardous situation when you have a false start like that, as we've elaborated on many times here, and hopefully they can get this bit of confusion ironed out here as to where each of these drivers belong. Snellbaker seemed to be kind of lost out there. We'll just pause here for a moment and come back once these cars are lined up and ready to go.
Okay, we're back now. The cars seem to be lined up in proper order. We have Craig Eschenauer, Bobby Weaver in row number 1, Roger Fickett, Smokey Snellbaker, row number 2. Then it's Maynard Jinx, Paul Lotier, Joe Gravino, Scott Tobias, Doug Wolfgang,
Keith Kaufman, and Darren Esch. And here we go, off turn 4. Green flag waves this time, Randy. We're underway.
Darren Esch got bogged down a little bit, so he did not get nearly the jump that he had early on.
He's in behind Joey Gravino and Chris Esch as they come down the backstretch. Right now, our leader is Bobby Weaver as he works his way through turns 3 and 4. Here they come. Darren Esch is going to have to work hard in this one, Randy.
That's for sure. He's got a bad start already. So your leader is Bobby Weaver. Smokey Snellbaker seems to be running a lot better now. Then we have Scott Tobias, Paul Lotier, Keith Kaufman, and Doug Wolfgang is going backwards quickly.
Evidently things not going well here for Doug Wolfgang, at least not as well as they did last night at the Hagerstown Speedway.
Well, this racetrack is the way that it is so hard and dry, it's very, very hard to pass.
Quite a bit harder than what it was earlier, and these drivers are going to begin to find that out as they work their way now through turns 3 and 4. Here comes your leader, Bobby Weaver. He's overdue for a win, Randy.
He certainly is. It's nice to see another upset victory here by one of the drivers who have not won a feature yet here at Port Royal.
Well, when you figure Keith Kaufman has won 3 out of the 5 races that we've run here, that's pretty good odds, and right now Kaufman is following the 7 of Paul Lotier. Here comes Weaver. Here comes Smokey Snellbaker. He's doing a good job, Randy.
Certainly is. He has Scott Tobias all over him. And you know, John, I'm wondering now, Doug Wolfgang seems to be completely out of it in this race. I just wonder if he misjudged this racetrack. The modifieds made that track a lot harder than what he may have thought it would be.
That's right, Randy.
And Bobby Weaver, who ran the modified feature, knew it was going to be hard and dry. He's out front and leaving the pack.
One of the benefits of running both divisions here at Port Royal.
Okay, Darren Esch now goes by Doug Wolfgang, so Esch now trying to move up. Weaver continues to lead out turn number 4. Here comes your battle, Smokey Snellbaker, the rest of the field.
Scott Tobias, Keith Kaufman, and Paul Lotier as they head down into turns 1 and 2. Boy, Smokey Snellbaker doing a tremendous job here, Randy.
He certainly is, running in that second position. So far, this race has gone straight through.
I'll tell you, the big horsepower boys may be at a disadvantage on this second half, Randy.
That is right. And from what I understand, Smokey Snellbaker actually took the $250 extra for having a cast iron block 410 in the first race.
Here they come now off turn number 4. Bobby Weaver out of Hellam, Pennsylvania leads. Smokey Snellbaker, Scott Tobias, and Keith Kaufman. Then it's Paul Lotier, and then the number 7 of Darren Esch.
So Darren is definitely on the move. Then it's Maynard Jinx and Doug Wolfgang. Everybody cheering for Darren Esch. I'll tell you, is there enough time though?
I don't know, Randy. This is only a 20-lap event, so that's 5 laps shorter than what Darren's used to. Here they come. Bobby Weaver still your leader. Look at this battle developing here.
And now Darren Esch is all over the rear bar. for Keith Kaufman. And John, this all goes back to that bad start he had. He started way back. Hey, that makes a big difference if you don't get a great start.
Very reminiscent of last year because Joey Gravino won the first one and hardly finished in the top 10 in the second one.
Halfway, 10 laps down, 10 laps to go.
Right there you see the battle between Keith Kaufman and Darren Esch. Darren Esch working the inside of the Speedway. I wouldn't think that would be the place to be, Randy. And now Scott Tobias pulls up along the inside of Smokey Snellbaker.
But Snellbaker holds him off as they come out of turn number 4. Bobby Weaver experiences a problem. No, the yellow lights came out. I thought Weaver was stopping for some strange reason. We have a spin out of turn number 1, right on the inside, just to the left, underneath the flag stand. There it is.
You can just barely see it, and I can't get an identification off that race car, so I'll tell you what, Bobby Weaver, he has just seen a big lead be
wiped away.
Okay, we'll be back with the restart right after this. Okay, Randy, we're back here. Bobby Weaver's been leading this event. Just had a nice lead washed away by that yellow caution light that had just came on. And you know, Weaver started up front. Now, is it possible that he just jumped out in front of these fast guys on this hard track? It's hard to make up the difference.
Okay, green flag waves.
Here they come off turn number 4. Smokey Snellbaker runs in that second spot.
Well, John, I think it'd be a popular victory for either of those two front runners.
And Darren Esch down on the inside, he almost got by Keith Kaufman and Scott Tobias. But it just didn't work out as he had to back off, and he'll be following Tobias out of turn number 4. Here comes your leader, Bobby Weaver. He's pulling back away, Randy.
He certainly is. And wouldn't it be a popular victory if Bobby Weaver could win this thing? He's been a very regular driver ever since about halfway through last season. Darren Esch moves into 4th.
Kaufman actually got in a little bit of trouble up in turn number 2, had to back off the throttle. Darren Esch moves up a spot. He'll be following Tobias now off turn 4. Smokey Snellbaker with a lot of trouble here in the form of Scott Tobias and Darren Esch.
Okay, as I was saying, it'd be a popular victory for Bobby Weaver. Now Darren Esch down to the inside again. So much action on this racetrack. Let's stick with it, huh?
The real race is for second right now, Randy, as Bobby Weaver has a comfortable lead. There goes Darren Esch underneath Tobias. Can he pull it off here? Let's watch him off turn 4. Down into turn number 1 now. Darren Esch putting on the pressure. He's underneath Tobias. Can he hold it? No. Tobias reclaims that second spot as they head down the backstretch. Actually, third spot is Smokey Snellbaker.
Look at that move!
Darren Esch with a blast of speed moves up into third spot now.
Unbelievable!
And here comes Darren Esch. And the motor just left go in Darren Esch's car.
Tough break for Darren Esch.
I heard the engine flutter from here, Randy.
We heard that popping sound, and it's not a good sound. Tough break for Darren Esch.
We're still under green, and we're still with our leader, Bobby Weaver. Now the yellow comes on.
Oh, tough break for Darren. I'll tell you, that move he made in turn number 3 was reminiscent of a driving style of a man who is now retired, the legendary Mitch Smith.
That's right, and I'll tell you what else. Darren Esch reminds me a lot of a young Keith Kaufman here at Port Royal Speedway. You know, Keith Kaufman, some fans would, criticize him for his aggressive driving style. You know, he would really lay on the throttle, and even when he had a big lead, he'd lay on the throttle. But, you know, maybe that's what it takes. You know, you have to find the limits on this type of racing, you know.
Well, there is one difference, though. Darren Esch is actually in a little better equipment than what Keith was early on, so.
That's for sure. Yeah, in all fairness to Keith Kaufman, right. Keith had to overdrive the equipment.
Right, and I think he got in a little more trouble than what Darren has gotten into. Yellow lights are out. We'll stay right with the action right here.
A tough break for Darren Esch as he is now being pushed back into the pit area. He had moved all the way up to second, only to have an engine let go. I could hear that engine flutter as he come by us here in the booth, and I knew it was all over for Darren Esch. Well, Bobby Weaver has been in full control of this event. He's only got a few laps to go, and he'll be looking at his first win here at Port Royal this year.
Green flag waves. Bobby Weaver in the lead. Smokey Snellbaker second. Scott Tobias runs third. Keith Kaufman now down on the inside. Paul Lotier takes over 4th. I can't believe it. It's hard to imagine Keith Kaufman being passed at Port Royal Speedway.
Well, it can happen, Randy. It's been happening here tonight. We'll watch them all turn 4. Here comes Bobby Weaver and Smokey Snellbaker. Can you believe it, Randy?
Okay, Smokey Snellbaker seems to be picking up the pace. He's down on the inside now, but Bobby Weaver maintains that lead.
Snellbaker with a valiant effort down in turn number 2, but Bobby Weaver hangs on to that lead as they head into turns 3 and 4. You know, if Smokey can pick up the win, he'll pick up the bonus here, and I think so will Bobby Weaver.
Okay, here we go.
We're down into the later stages of this race now as we watch him come off of turn number 2. That's your battle for second as Weaver has about a 7-car length lead over your second place man, Smokey Snellbaker. Here comes Scott Tobias now moving in on Snellbaker.
Paul Lotier is right there also. What a fantastic race these fans are seeing here tonight in the second leg of the Twin 20. And now Scott Tobias on the outside.
That's getting awful tight over on the backstretch. Scott Tobias on the outside. He goes by. Paul Lotier. Scott Tobias actually brought Paul Lotier along with him. Snellbaker goes back to fourth. 2 laps to go on your leader.
2 laps to go, and Bobby Weaver will come away with the victory. Now Paul Lotier moves to the inside, and he takes over that second position from his brother-in-law, Scott Tobias.
Here we go now off turn number 4. Your leader, Bobby Weaver, in that number 16, the Keystone Pretzels car. Here comes Paul Lotier. He runs second.
Paul Lotier has come up with a tremendous amount of speed. Could it be that Bobby Weaver's right rear tire is nearly shot? We'll have to wait and see. Lotier moves up even closer.
Well, Paul Lotier was running strong down in Hagerstown last night. He's running good here again tonight. I don't know. He's beginning to run out of time.
Here we go, coming out of turn number 4.
Second place. Paul Lotier pulls off. Paul Lotier, your winner over Bobby Weaver.
Third goes to Scott Tobias. Fourth, Smokey Snellbaker. Fifth, Chris Edge. Sixth, Keith Kaufman. Seventh, Doug Wolfgang. Eighth, the 88 of Maynard Jinks. And then it's Joey Gravino in 9th position.
Paul Lotier. I tell you what, Randy, that was just about like Keith Kaufman's win over Randy Wolf last year.
And John, I detect something happened to car number 16, Bobby Weaver. I feel so bad for him. He wanted that win. He's been running here every week and every week and every week, and it seems like something happens every time he's in the lead.
Well, a tough break, but, you know, on the other hand, a good break for Paul Lotier.
That's right.
He comes home here, the winner in the second half, the Twin 20s tonight. Paul Lotier in that C. Irwin car. That's going to be a happy crew in Victory Lane tonight, Randy. There is Paul Lotier as he rolls that number 7 down the front stretch and into Victory Lane.
And the fans really approved this victory.
Well, I'll tell you what, the fans of Port Royal, he pulls it into the winner's circle a little differently than most drivers. We're going to switch it down for that post-race interview.
And this ought to be a good one. How about it, Fred?
I'm telling you, Tom, you said about Twin 20s last year. You couldn't beat them this year.
No way, shape, or form. And when you get Paul Lotier, this ought to be a super interview.
I'm telling you, that was really an exciting race.
It was a tough break for Bobby Weaver, who led it the whole way around. I said to Paul Lotier earlier up there in the pits, we'll let Paul say that.
It took a little while, I couldn't run through it.
Hey, Paul, what did I say to you earlier?
Said it was about due, and you're right.
I'd say you're about due. You've won every place else, but now you can add Port Royal.
Well, there's a couple others, I'm sure, but this is one that we run a lot, so it's nice to get one here finally.
Your wife was up on the judge's stand. You know what she said?
I guess she was probably saying to get the lead out there. I don't know.
No, she said when you crossed the finish line, I can't believe it. She has no faith in you whatsoever.
Oh, she's got a lot of faith in me. Without her, we wouldn't be here. I just needed a little room, a little open room there to get going. I was just kind of, you couldn't run into the back of the guy. So as soon as they moved a little bit, we were hooked up. We set up for the end of the race, and that's where we went.
And that's the end. That's the part you want to set up for. Hey, you had a lot of room to make up there, young man, in the last few laps.
Well, I knew we were fast before that. I just couldn't get a nice line in. Right after that last yellow, we moved the wing back a little, and that was the key there.
The key to the whole thing. Well, I'll tell you what, I was beginning to wonder if I was ever going to get to talk to you, young man.
Well, it's about time. I'd like to thank my mechanic, Carl Mindler, my dad, Homer, and his 2 sons, Mike and John, and all the rest of the crew. We've got one heck of a crew, and they just keep working all the time. We got one guy named Joe. He travels about an hour a day to help, and he's there every night.
He's there every night. Sir, if you've got the hungries, there's a gift for you from the Stop 35 Restaurant and Motel right up the highway here at 322. A gift for you from Lorenz Cordelli. And now for the good part. Fred, I'll allow you to do the honors, sir.
Congratulations, Paul. That was a very exciting race. Very good win.
Thank you.
You know, you commented to me last year down in Susquehanna after you finished third in both those races, the $1,600 payoff was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, you should be in love with tonight's.
Yeah, it's a great payoff, and this is a beautiful track, and they run it real nice show through here. They don't keep you here all night. It's a nice place.
Well, tonight was a little longer than usual, but it's you guys supplied some heat for us so we could stay warm.
Yeah, it was warm in the car.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Paul Lotier to Victory Lane and the Sea Urban and Fun Food Distributors Tobias Speed Shop number 7.